All right, everyone, we are here with a very special guest. We are joined by the newest Bachelor, Zach Shallcross. His season premieres Monday night, the 23rd. We're pumped up. It's been a while since we've had any Bachelor content to consume, so we're excited. And welcome to the show, Zach.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Are you excited for your season to come out? Because we're all excited, but we keep hearing is about how much you're crying this whole season.
I knew this was coming. Hey. I'm an emotional dude sometimes. I'm a guy that occasionally wears his heart on his sleeve and maybe like one or two tears. Who's counting? Three, maybe seven. I don't know. It was a lot.
Hey, you know what? At least we know you have emotions because if you weren't crying on the show, then everyone would be like, he's fake, he's not feeling it. We know that you really got into the process then.
I mean, completely submerged into it. It's like there's so much that goes on, like more than I could have ever even imagined, even on the previous season, to where it's like, oh wow, I'm being tested daily, and why do I feel like this? And I mean, at every moment, there was just a new like feeling you're having, or a new position you're put in, and you're like, how the hell do I navigate this thing? And I'm an emotional dude sometimes, and I don't know, I can't hide it. I've got a bad I don't know, guilty conscience or whatever you call it. Like I have to
Poker
share
face.
everything. Oh, terrible. I can't lie. I can't.
What was
Well, that
the
makes for good TV.
what was the biggest misconception you had about becoming the Bachelor that you realized during filming you were like, wow, I was so wrong about this?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think right out of the gate, I realized you don't get any sleep. Like there's no shot of any rest really. Like sure, maybe every few days you'll get more than a couple hours. But other than that, it's like when you're on the bachelorette side, you might have a one-on-one date, or you may or may not go on the group date. And if you're not on those days, you kind of have a little bit of downtime, um, interviews and whatnot. But on this side, there's no off day. Like the only time you have time off is to travel. And I'm a big guy, so sleeping on a plane doesn't work.
Hmm.
Uh, so it kicked my ass, to be honest.
So being tired probably made you overly emotional at times too. Like you were like, I'm just going to cry right now because I'm tired.
You know what? Like in the beginning, it was so much adrenaline because you're like, oh my god, this is insane. I'm at the mansion again, and oh my god, I'm leading a group date, or we're doing this really cool date, and so you didn't even have time to feel tired. And there comes a point where I don't know the exact moment, but maybe people can spot it, where it's just like, oh, everyone is just dead tired, and yeah, like emotions and everything just kind of spurs out of the blue when you've got a few hours of sleep for the week. So,
Yeah, that's very true. I've definitely shed some tears when I've been overly tired. There's always so much discussion about who gets cast as the Bachelor, and everyone speculates and everybody roots for certain people. How did you feel? You're after Gabby and Rachel's season. How did you feel about the idea of being the Bachelor? How did they approach you with kind of taking on this role? And was it something you jumped at, or were you kind of nervous about it?
well, it was weird. So, like how, the season had ended last season, and, I was approached a few weeks or so after shooting, and had some conversations with the producers, and I was like honored to even be considered. But in my mind, I was wanting to get away from everything really quick. Like I spent time with my family right after. I was like, I got to decompress. I got to get away from this whole craziness. I'm honored and thankful to be considered, but like, do I want to go through all that shit again? Like, I don't know. And after, several conversations and, some of my, good buddies being also considered, we all had this support for each other of like, if it's any of us, like I couldn't be happier. And, the process was, on and off. And like, I never really felt like I was going to be the Bachelor until literally I was on stage, and that's why I think all the color in my face was gone, and they asked me to remember everyone's names, and I was like, I haven't even like had the chance to take it in that I'm even here. So
No
like,
one
how?
can blame you for the name thing.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
a ruthless question from Jesse. We were all like, "Oh, come on! You're gonna make him you're gonna quiz him on all the names."
And it's Jesse. He did that at his own rose ceremony when he was the Bachelor. He forgot the name. So it's like, dude, who are you to tell? Um, but yeah, it was like it just never really settled that like I would be in this spot. So never once like was it like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the Bachelor. Like it was like no shot. I think they spelled my name wrong or something like that. They're meant to reach out to, my buddy Avon or something. Like, so yeah, that's how it feels.
How did
Yeah,
your family react to you deciding to do the show, The Bachelor, being The Bachelor?
Yeah, so my family, so my mom is a big fan of the show, but I have two younger sisters who diehard fans. Like they do their wine nights, they have their brackets, their fantasy bachelor, whatever it is. And when they found out I was on The Bachelorette, they freaked out. They thought that was the coolest thing in the world. They're so happy. They got like shirts and all that kind of stuff. Now, for The Bachelor, I think they got so used to it to where like my sisters, they used to just always see The Bachelor and be like, oh, like what a hunk, so handsome, like watch this romance. And now that they're like, oh, it's their brother, that's the grossest thing in the world. So they are more like, leave it there, we'll watch the finale.
that makes sense. Now that you have been the Bachelor and you were also on the Bachelorette, do you maybe have some more, like, I mean, not saying that you didn't, but have more compassion for Gabby and Rachel and the other past Bachelor and Bachelorettes in the position they were in? Because I feel like they always take a lot of heat, whether it's the Bachelor or Bachelorette, because people say, oh, I would have done that differently. I would have acted differently here, but you don't truly know until you're in that position. Did you feel that way during the process?
1,000%. Like you don't know what you don't know. And when you go through an experience that is completely different than being on the contestant side, like it is totally different. And like I always did feel compassion for both Gabby and Rachel, and even some of the previous leads of like, there's a lot on your plate. Like you're dating 30 plus people and you have to make tough decisions every week. When I was actually living it, you just become so overconsumed and in the moment really that like it's hard to think clearly and make the right decision or whatever you think the right decision is. So it makes sense. Like the viewers will be like, why the hell did someone do this? Or why the hell is this person freaking out about this? When you're in that moment, I mean, that's all that matters to you. You don't even think about the part of like, oh, this is going to be shown on TV and people are going to have an opinion. You're just kind of going through life the way it feels right to you in the moment, which most people do. But like on a show platform, it's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. And then no sleep.
How do you think people will react to this season, and how do you hope people will react?
That's a good question. So I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised because right now I'm, whatever, the boring Bachelor, or no one really knows anything about me. Trust me, I've seen it all. Uh, it makes sense though, because like I was never really on the show last season. I mean, it was like, okay, a clip here and there, and it's like, oh, it was this guy Zach. Oh, he's in the top 3. Like I get it, and um, this time around, what's going to be, I think, just better for everyone and the show. It's focusing on the personalities of everyone included. So all the women you're going to really get to know, but also have an idea of who I am. Because like to me, it's like, oh, I'm just like this big, tall, deep voiced guy, and that's it. And
Yeah.
oh God, what does he have going on? But they're going to be pleasantly surprised that it's pretty deep, everything that happens. Like it's very emotional. Like I'm an emotional guy, but like it's really focused on like really interesting romances.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's
So
very
I just
important.
hope like everyone, yeah.
I think it's important because
I agree, Rhea.
with other past seasons, people will watch the show and they're like, does this person, like you said, like this person's boring, this person has no personality. And then you see them online and you see they have this grand personality that nobody ever got to know. So I think that's exciting for you to know that people are going to see another side of you and there's more to you than what people just saw glimpses of on The Bachelorette.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you know people assume like whatever, like boring or whatnot, or it's going to be not dramatic. I can say that that is the complete opposite.
It looks pretty dramatic.
Well, it's like, and it's not like forced drama, which is something that I was never like a fan of. Like I'm not saying the show forces drama, but it's Bachelor Nation. It's always
Mhm.
drama, this and that. And like I wanted to steer clear of the unnecessary, pointless drama that where you like even as fans are like scratching their head of like that was stupid. Like why is that a thing? Like it's real like life drama in a weird situation. So there's plenty of it, and I mean it's like I don't want to say like I loved it all, but it was all really important to get to the end. So they'll be surprised at the drama, good drama.
It's very, very good tease you've got going. But the last, like you said, the last time we saw you on TV was at the end of Rachel and Gabby's season and your breakup with Rachel. And such a big conversation around that was age and just the discussion of, well, how old do you have to be ready to get engaged or be married? And like, is there a limit on that? Now, looking back at that conversation, how do you feel about that breakup?
Yeah, I mean, like with age being kind of the centerfold of that, like I at that time was just like shocked. I don't know, I was just bummed out, disappointed that I was like, like how can anyone tell me that I'm not ready or not old enough to settle down and find that one person I want to do life with? And that's where I was really coming from. And like I now after all this time like look back on it and obviously spoken with Rachel and all this, and it was it's all figured out and we're on good terms, but like I still stand very firm in age doesn't really play a role. Now it is important in maturity at the end of the day. Like you can be the most immature 30 something year old and it just unhealthy relationships can spur from that. Like if you are okay with yourself and decide with intention that like hey I'm ready to settle down, and you find that person that just gives you the butterflies and you fall in love, like it doesn't have an age limit. Like I'm a firm believer on that. Um, but often age has a significant correlation with maturity, but that's my take on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think when people look at the show from a viewer standpoint, the age of the Bachelor or Bachelorette sometimes dictates the age of the contestants. So when you have a younger Bachelor or Bachelorette, you get younger contestants. And, sometimes people question the maturity of those people when they're coming in, they're 22, 21, 22, 23, coming onto the show. Did you guys deal with any of that this season?
Well, I was going to say like you really have to keep a keen eye on like the sincerity of it, because that's a fear of mine too, is like,
Mm-hmm.
sure, I know I'm like what I want, what I'm looking for, but okay, there's going to be 30 women coming here. Like how many are actually here looking for the same thing, right? The quote unquote right reasons or wrong reasons. And like I was hyper alert to that. I felt like you'll see like sure that's something that is discussed and brought to light, but uh, it is on your mind 24/7 of like I didn't look at it as age. It was more of like your actions and how you carried yourself, because to be honest you can kind of see through it when you're like, oh, this person, yeah, they actually take this seriously and they're open to the idea, versus this person's just looking for clout, or this one's
Mm-hmm.
just took the shot and wants to make it on TV. And sometimes it's really apparent and sometimes it takes some time, but that was for sure the thing I was like, all right, I can't have this bite me in the ass.
Yeah. As the
Yeah.
show goes on and social media changes, I think we've seen that more and more. It's very clear throughout the seasons now. Like people want followers, people want to get on the next Bachelor show. How do you feel about somebody, and maybe not on your season, but like somebody going on and saying, I'll gain some followers from this and it'll be good. And maybe also I'll find love, like a little bit of both.
No, absolutely. I don't think, I mean, I think there's like gray area in it. You'd be way too naive to just think, oh, you're going to just go onto this show and find love or not. And that's it. Like everyone knows it's a TV show. It's got quite the, diehard following. And it actually would be weird if you were just like, oh, I'm going to go on this show and fall in love and get married and this and that. Like you're a weirdo. You need to have balance, be aware of everything, like of it. Like, I mean, I'm so bad at social media. Like, I don't know how to crop pictures well. I know I got roasted for like an old picture I posted and all this stuff. So like, I get it. Like you should be aware of it, but as long as it's not like the purpose of being there, I think that's a clear distinction. But it's like, it's fine too. Like to know that you have, people that support you online, and whether that's lots of followers or not, like that's cool, but it's not the way to do that of, going on this show and saying all the wrong things to go far or this and that and leaving with just the following.
Yeah. You don't want to manipulate the system. You kind of just want to go in with an open mind, be yourself, and like whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, exactly. Like be ready for anything, like understand like the whole situation, like what happens. Like don't be like, oh, I didn't think I was actually gonna. No, because it's real feelings at stake. So it's like if you're just toying all the way along, like you could be a really good bullshitter and fool someone, and then that hurts their feelings and hurts their heart. And what was that all for? A couple thousand followers? Like that's kind of my take on it.
Definitely. Well, we had also agreed that, it felt like we didn't get to know you as much this last season. So we want to do a little icebreaker round, some basic bio questions about you and getting to know you. Because look, all the girls every season, and they do it every season, all the contestants get these bio write-ups. And of course you had one last season, but it doesn't like update when you become the Bachelor. So all the girls have all these bios, but we don't have them for you. So we have some questions for you. Start very easy. Some of them you already answered. The first one is, how old are you right now?
How old am I right now? Great question. 26.
26. Okay, Rhea, go ahead.
Yeah, these will be rapid fire. Do you have any siblings?
I have 2 younger sisters.
That's good, because then people will be like, oh, he knows how to treat his sisters. He knows how to treat women.
Well, I was raised in a house essentially just full of women because my dad was always gone. And so, yeah, there was a lot of estrogen in the house for sure.
What was your job pre-Bachelor, and did you like your job?
Yeah, so I worked in tech sales in Austin for about 3.5 years. I liked my job. Did I love it? No.
How did you like Austin? I feel like Austin was a big hotspot for people your age during that time, since I'm older than you.
I love Austin. Like I just moved there for the job and kind of on a whim. I didn't know a single person when I moved out there and fell in love with it. I mean, it's a fun young town, but it still has the city feel, and it's great for work and the industry I'm in. But it's got some of the best damn food in my life. Like the barbecue, unreal. I'm a big food dude. Like I can't stop eating. So it's like, shit, I'm going to gain so much weight here.
Where do you live right now?
So like splitting time between Austin and California. So with the show coming out, just being with the fam and doing all the press stuff out here.
Okay, so some more fun stuff. What was your favorite TV show growing up? This says a lot about a person.
My favorite TV show growing up. Oh, honestly, it was Family Guy. I had my family, my uncle.
I was going to say, is that a connection?
There's a little bit of a connection there. And it was funny because I was never allowed to watch it as a kid. And I was like, Mom, are you kidding me? Your own brother is the voice in it. And she's like, it's so inappropriate. Like, how can they say this on TV? And I would just stay up late, watch it every night. Guilty pleasure.
That is very
That's a good
funny.
one.
Did you
Yeah.
ever get in trouble in school? If yes, what for?
Yeah. So I'm, like I said kind of earlier, that I can't hide anything. Like I have a very bad poker face. So much so that I used to rat on myself a lot. So as a kid, I don't know if you remember, there were like, I forgot the name of the tests, but they were like called AR reading points. Like you'd read a book
Mm.
and you'd go online on the test and you'd get the points and then you'd get prizes. And the prize was to go to the movies. And so I think I was in like sixth grade or fifth grade, and I really wanted to go. And I knew the Harry Potter books had a ton of points, so I had one of my friends take the test for me, and I got to go to the movie. And as I'm sitting there watching the movie, I'm like shaking inside. I'm like, I don't deserve to be here. I didn't read the book. Like I shouldn't be here. And I went home that night, and I like had tears in my eyes, and I was like, Mom, I didn't read the book. And she's like, you're ratting on yourself. Like you already saw the movie. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'll just send myself to my room now. And I did. And my parents said I was a pretty easy kid to raise. But
Yeah, very wholesome way to get in trouble.
I know, that was very wholesome.
and I think there's
What?
other ones, but
Yeah, yeah. Okay, more into, some love life. When did you have your first girlfriend?
First like serious girlfriend was junior year of high school, actually. Like first boyfriend, girlfriend, the full blown like we're dating, that whole thing. Sure, there was like, the first grade,
Yes.
first like, kiss or something like that, but first girlfriend was in high school. Sweethearts,
Did
that
you
whole thing.
ever have a breakup that was like the worst breakup ever?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So actually the breakup I had before, about a year or so, year and a half before I went on The Bachelorette, was my last real serious relationship. And that was in Austin. Um, it was kind of ugly. Not as in like anyone did anything bad to each other, like no one was mean or anything like that, but it was like a big emotional breakup where it was just like a lot of our lives had combined, living together, and when the breakup came, it just kind of changed everything. And
Mm.
it was really tough for some time, and working through that was tough, but then getting through it and being good for the Bachelorette was the most important thing at that time.
Yeah, definitely. It's like led you on this path. Were you ever on any of the dating apps? And if you were, what did your pictures look like? Shirtless, playing sports, fishing?
So no, God, no.
Barbecue.
No. Okay. So I was on the dating apps for a little bit. I'm trying to think. I think it was like Bumble or Tinder, and it was before Hinge. But the pictures I used, I never did any shirtless pictures. Never. Um, you know, gotta have one with the dog. Gotta have one with my pup.
Mhm.
Couple
Smart.
family ones. I don't know. I was like never big with like getting my photo taken, so I was like, I'm working with like 4 pictures here total. We'll see if this works or not. But yeah, the dating apps, I don't miss them.
Mhm.
Fair.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
leading into The Bachelor, when did you realize you were looking for a serious relationship, ready to settle down?
I had that feeling and me wanting to just fully settle down. Like I'm tired of the whole dating scene. A couple months before I went on The Bachelorette, actually. So when I was in the process of being nominated by my buddy who was also on the show, um, we talked about it, and I had gone to therapy for like about a year or so, just to like make sure that I'm all good with myself and just ready to take that next step in life. And it kind of clicked, and it was around the time that I was nominated, and I was like, yeah, like, sure, it's pretty wild that it would come from a TV show. Like, could it be me? Who knows? But like, worth a shot. Um, but it was a few months or so before The Bachelorette was like, all right, I'm over this whole like constant dating scene or just like being single. Like, I think life's a lot better shared with someone.
Yeah. That's a great
Now, we
outlook to
asked
have going
this.
into it.
Yeah, it is. It is. I agree. Sorry, once again, we're not used to not being in the same room. We
Yeah.
haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, I know. This is a bummer. I thought we were over
I
the Zoom
know.
stuff.
I know. Well, I know. Unfortunately, I feel like when the time around New York, we'll get you. We'll get you at the end, and
Definitely.
hopefully things are looking good for you. This is the question we always ask when we have the Bachelor, the Bachelorette on before their season, because we know, there's not much you can really tell us. We have to watch. But now you're all done. It's over. You finished. How do you feel about your season and life right now?
Ooh, that's a big question right there. Huge question. Damn. Uh Overall, right now, I am very happy. This whole experience, I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I saw glimpses of it, being on The Bachelorette, but The Bachelor, this whole season went so much better than I could have ever anticipated, to be honest. Now it had a lot of ups and downs, quite a bit, but that's part of the beauty of it. And I'm like so incredibly happy that things are the way they are. I know that's so vague, and I wish I could say more. Um,
Don't worry, we'll all really look into that.
yeah,
we'll,
yeah,
we'll really analyze how you delivered that and the words you emphasized.
yeah.
And
Yes. Everyone will look back and they'll double check and they'll listen to it a couple more times to make sure they really understand what you were saying. But we're very excited for your season. It's Monday night, the 23rd. We already got a little glimpse, when you were on stage and some women were introduced to you and you forgot their names, which we are not holding against you once again. That's very tough. And we blame
Sure.
Jesse Palmer for that. But we're
Always.
very excited for your season.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's nice meeting you too, and hopefully I can come by the office at some point.
yeah, definitely. You'll have to come through towards the end. We always like to start and end together. You think you're going on this
Yes.
journey with everyone else, but you're also really going on this journey with myself and Rhea. So thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thank you
I
so
love the
much.
team.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Part of
Thank
the
you
team.
so much.
Thank you so much, Zach. We appreciate it. And, good luck as this journey starts.
Thank you so much. Talk to you later.